Yes, about illusion, what we call illusion, we sometimes call this as a dream, and for some time, for some people, it feels like, but it doesn't sound true. To me, it seems so real. So how can you say it's an illusion? So there is another way we can present it, is that truth is always there, everywhere, all the time. Truth, because truth, if it is absolute, it cannot be anywhere else than here and now, right? So absolute truth, if it is absolute, it cannot be anywhere else than here and now. So when I experience something which I feel as true, for me it is true. So if somebody tell me it's an illusion, it's a dream, yes, I cannot accept this as a dream, because for me it's true. So in a way we can say, yes, your experience of truth is now like that. It's true for you. Because truth is always, at any given time, right? But it is a relative truth. But it is still truth, but relative. Because it depends on some perceptions, identification with body, mind, and time and space, and so on. So now from there, we have first to acknowledge what is true for me. Oh, now I sense this. I have a cup in my hand. Whatever is there, I experience, it is true for me. So I start from there, and then I can question this. Is it true? Is it absolutely true? Is it really true? Whatever come in our mind or in our perceptions, we can question. So it's changing a little bit the perspective, is going from where we are, relative truth, to absolute truth. But it's always truth. We are always in truth. So it's a little bit a different way to present it. So we feel already, oh, I'm already in truth. It's relative, but absolute truth is here and now. It cannot be anywhere else.
You're not recording.
Yes, I'm recording. Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Yes. So, yes, that's what we can say about dream. It depends on our perception. Like Ramana Maharishi was saying, the world is an illusion. First sentence, the world is an illusion. Second sentence, only the self or Brahman is real. And number 3 is the world is Brahman, or the self, whatever. So how to understand that? It seems contradictory, right? Especially number 1 and number 3. So the world is an illusion, is a perception we have of the world is an illusion, because we perceive it. Huh?
Self means what? Self means what?
Absolute. Soul. No, self, it means like truth. It can be a relative truth or a relative self. The self identified with the body mind is a limited self. So we think we are that limited self. But what we are invited to discover is our self is not only this limited self. It is at the end, and here and now, it is the absolute self, which has no limit, no beginning, no end, which is never born, which will never die. So this is the absolute self. It's the nature of Buddha, the nature of God, the nature of what we are. It's our essence, our nature. We can call it eternity or whatever name you want to give it, right? So yes, so the first sentence in this is the world is an illusion. So the way I perceive the world is an illusion because I separate things. I perceive the world, so there is me and the world. Me and you. And this is the beginning of suffering, when we divide. So that's why a master will say the world is an illusion. The perception you have of the world is an illusion. Number 2, we say only the self is real. But now we're speaking about Brahman. He's speaking about the absolute self, or absolute Brahman, or God, or what you are, the essence of what you are. Only this is true. Is real in the sense that it has no beginning, no end. It does not depend on anything. So the definition of real is unconditional, like love. Love can be conditional or unconditional. So self or love or truth, absolute, is the same thing. So sentence number 2, only the self is real, means the nature of what I am is absolute and is an absolute reality. The rest is coming and going as a beginning and an end, and is changing in time and space. Right? So first I have to acknowledge how the world is working. Is working in time and space. So time in changing, and space in difference. So the two characteristics of time and space is change and difference. So we have to live in the world by looking how it is working, and it is based on these two principles, change and difference. And we have to fully see it, not really think about it, but see it, that it's depending on this. All relationships, change
and difference.
Change and difference. Change in space, difference change in time and difference in space. So they are both quality of time and space, right? So we have to really acknowledge this fully. Difference and change is part of the dualistic dual world, right? Our perception says that. So we have to start from there, because if we don't really see it, we cannot go to the next step somehow, which is to see what is not changing and which has no difference. And this is the quality of the self, absolute self. So that's why we say it's only that is real, because it's not changing and there is no difference. There is no high, no low, no good, no bad. It's beyond all this definition. So, but once
Could you speak to that some more, the test?
Sorry?
Could you elaborate more on the test that you have to put on everything?
Yeah, you have really to be immersed in duality fully, to see how it came and how the suffering, why we are on this quest of truth or whatever, because we are entangled in this duality. So we have to really see that it is based on this principle. So we suffer because we are depending on things which has a beginning and an end, and things which are different. You are different from me, so it's difficult to accept others as different, because they don't behave as I want, as I expect. So I feel sad if you don't do this, or angry, or this, because we are following this principle, right? But to really, really acknowledge this difference of the other, or the outside, is really to see that, oh, you are different. You are really different. And things are changing. And to really see it, then the true perception that beyond this, the nature of what I am is not changing, is not different. By accepting the difference, you can go beyond or transcend it. So it needs a full acceptance of this principle, difference and change. The world is made like this. I cannot make the world a good world. I cannot make people as I like. I cannot control the world or people, right? So to fully accept this is I'm defeated. I will never succeed to make the world as I like. So by failing then I see, oh, I have no control. Then acceptance of duality, difference and change is there. By seeing that you cannot change this principle. And in this acceptance, then the absolute seeing of the nature of the self, which is not changing and where there is no difference, can be seen. And I can see that the apparent other one, in reality, is the same self. So by this total acceptance of this, then maybe something can emerge. So it's another way of, today I try to present in another way, in a positive way. So it's more, I was reading I discovered a Swami Prajnapada, an Indian Swami. He's famous in France, and I read him 25, 30 years ago. And a few days ago, I was reading him again, and it's very interesting to approach that way because it makes it positive. You know, like a seed. When you plant a seed, it will grow and then have some branches and then some flowers and then some fruits. But the trunk is always there. So in a way, it's like the ego will expand and experiment fully this duality and see that it cannot really give him something. Apparently, you can get something. But in truth, when you feel really, I tried, I tasted everything, it's not really filling up my soul or myself. So it's not really working. So that's why sometimes masters will, Ishwapuri did that with me also when 8 years ago I wanted to record a CD music, but I don't know, I asked him and he said, yes, go fully. And I did not do anything with that, but it did not really succeed in the word. But a master can push you to try, to do something, to succeed, because ultimately the failure which be the success in anything, to see that the world will not give you what you seek, what you are seeking. That's why it's not about already saying, oh, the repeating things, the world is an illusion, it's so bad, I stay in my room, but really experiencing in your body mind that I'm really not finding what I want in this world. There is high and low, yes, but so then something else can be perceived. Yes, so then comes the sentence number 3, the word is Brahman. After the first sentence was the word in illusion. Number 2 was only the self is real, and now we come to the word is Brahman, or the self. Why? Because when you have fully accepted duality as it is, as just a phenomenon, then you see beyond the appearance and the form, you see the formless beyond the form, you see the absolute self in everyone and in everything. That's why the word is Brahman. Then you see the word as a form of Brahman. But you have first to go from the denying the word is an illusion, because my perception, I have to question my perception because I suffer from that, because of the dualistic perception. So only the self is real. And now I can see, oh, the word is Brahman. Yes.
So nice.
So when you see that, oh, it's all. Yes. So, and there is no separation between the absolute and the relative, because the relative is only the relative, what we see with our physical eyes, senses, and whatever, or in any planes, is a relative, but it's a appearance of the absolute. So it's not separate from the absolute. We are always the absolute, experiencing the relative. So we are the absolute truth, experiencing absolute relative truth, but it's always truth. If we can say Sat. So Sat is always there. It's sometimes disguised in duality. So it's with some clause, it has some clause on this. So we're already the absolute, but we have some clause, some layers. So we have to take out some clause to really see what is there, what is the real nature. And the nature of what I am has no beginning, no end, cannot die, was never born. So as someone said, the only thing which can die is the idea that I was born. When this...
But then Master said that all will be in the
Satsang.
Yes, means then...
Yeah, but he also said...
But you are there.
Yeah, he also said, you're already there, you are dreaming all that. So it's whether it's presenting by Ramana Maharshi, Ishwapuri, or somebody else, or Nisargadatta, or Swami Prajnapada, it's the same. We're already this absolute. Because if you understand what means absolute, if you really see, it's about not thinking. With thinking with the mind, we can't get it. It's by seeing. From thinking, we have to grow into a higher, finer perception, which is seeing. And then we see that the absolute cannot be anywhere else than here. Because it has no time and space. It could be somewhere else, a Satsang which is somewhere else, or a Nirvana which is somewhere else. It will not be absolute. So if you are really for what is absolute, then it can only be here and now. What is not here and now, it's a promise.
But what Master said, that he promised that all those initiates will come with him in the Satsang.
But it's an image, it's a metaphor, which means will come with him, means you will regain the awareness of what you are. You will regain the awareness of what you are.
And then never come back.
But this idea is only for, it's also addressing this to the mind. Because for the self, coming back and going or coming back, it has no meaning. So he has to speak like this to the body-mind. But for the self, there is no coming and going anyway.
It is that.
We are that now. We are that here and now. And for that, what we are, there is no coming and going. So by seeing that, in one instant, you kill reincarnation and...
But then so much suffering also is there.
Yes. But it's the first sentence. The word is an illusion. So the mind, because he believes that the world is separate, I perceive the world, so there is so much suffering, because there is me and others, me and the world. So now go from the first to the second sentence, only the self is real. So concentrate on the self, on God, on the absolute, concentrate on that, and look, first you have to acknowledge that the world is made of relative, change, and difference. And that's the source of suffering, because we are separate. We are identified with the body-mind. This is I. If we ask, what are you? You say, I'm me. But what is me? This is me, body-mind, right? Whatever body is, if you identified with some other bodies, subtle body, it will be also me. It's everywhere me, identified with something. Even if I am Indra or any god or anything or an avatar, it's still me, identified with a form.
But when there is physical suffering, then there is a suffering that you have to experience it. No?
Yes.
Like
so,
the pain in the body,
yes, so
pain in the leg.
Yes, yeah, anything.
Then how can you separate? How can you separate from that?
No, you don't
because
have...
you are all the time you are thinking about that, experiencing that pain.
Yeah,
wherever
but
you have.
it's part of the experience. So why do you want to separate from that? If it is there, it is there. And if, when it's absolutely unbearable, consciousness will shift to another consciousness. But we say it's unbearable. But it's only a
Yes.
commentary of the mind. When it is really unbearable, consciousness shift automatically. It happens by itself. We have nothing to do. Right? So only the mind says it's unbearable. But is it true? No, you are bearing it. Right? So it's just a
Yes.
commentary of the mind. It's unbearable. But you are bearing it. So it's not true. We believe what the mind say. But mind says so many things.
And then consciousness shifts where?
Yeah, if it's unbearable, it will click by itself. So I heard that from people. I experienced it myself also. So, or if sometimes, not only if it's unbearable, if you really experience it fully, without running away from it, whether it is physical or emotional, because what we have to understand is that the ego is always trying to run away from discomfort and suffering.
Yes.
But
Yes.
by being fully here and stopping to run away, when I'm fully here, then some beautiful experiences. Yesterday, somebody told me an experience, Susan told me an experience she had like that, with physical suffering, and then she went fully in acceptance, totally. She touched bottom, and then there was a automatic shift in this total acceptance. Then, wow, it's so, but it happen or not, it's not really in our hand, because otherwise, if we would control, we would identify as a controller. So that's a trap. So we have to surrender, to be here and surrender. And we can take also pills. It doesn't mean we don't need to take pills. We can take pills, but surrender. If we try to control it by some techniques, I will control with my meditation, then we are still in the trap of controlling. So it's also not work. It may work to some extent, but full acceptance means full surrender. So it's not about controlling. This is different.
Okay, good.
Suzanne cannot, she will share us, if she likes, another time now. She cannot speak because she has somebody on her side. She's in Munich. But another time, if she likes, she can share it.
Next time, when she comes to your place, she will share.
She can share if she likes. But I experienced it myself a few years ago in the hospital. So I shared that already. So, and you are.
No, share it again. Share it again, please. I might have not heard.
Yes, I had this, hernia operation, and then I had after operation.
Yes, I didn't hear this.
And I had an intestinal occlusion, when it's blocked, and it's terrible. This, I thought I would die because I could not, nothing could go to toilet. I could not eat, no drink. It feels very terrible, and you don't know if you will live like this. And but at some point, I don't know, something clicked, and I was somehow above, or something like that. And beautiful sounds was there because I'm used to meditate on the sound, and I was in heaven. The pain was somehow there, but so hardly perceivable, So, but it happened by itself. So it can happen like this, or through meditation. So the point is, if it's supposed to happen, it will happen. It's not about trying to control this like this or like that, but to surrender to what is. Surrender to God's will if you have no problem with the word God, or surrender to what is, if you prefer. What is the pain. Because when I fight against what is, or the pain, I add a resistance to the pain, so it makes double. Right?
Right. Nice. Very nice.
So I don't know if it was like a meditation.
This was very nice for me.
Or maybe in the second part, when it stops, we can do start with a short meditation. Then should I, or whatever. Anything to share about all this? Maybe it was a lot of information. Maybe something you want to.
I hear more. Go ahead, Nilima. Sorry. I will share. See, I have a spur, physical pain. I have terrible spur in my leg. So I do less physical walking and all. But the other day I said, nothing doing. I cannot live with this always. I will go for a very, very long walk. So I went for a very long walk and I didn't bother about the pain. 2 hours walk I went and I felt very happy that I won against that pain. Though it persisted. I felt very nice.
Good. So yes, anyway, we can do something also to not focus on the pain.
Yes.
So if you have a mantra or if you have a master or a meditation, you can focus on something else also. Not avoiding it, but just you are just
divert
here.
Your mind.
Yes, but being here, but not fully on there. But yes. So it's a little bit out of Satsang, this topic, but it's still some practical things. Yes.
I want to ask something.
Yes, Raidas.
Yeah, you were talking about before about watching the movement, about
the change,
the changes and the
movement. Yes, movement. Yes.
Between the absolute and the relative.
No, it's not the change. It's fully in the relative. Observing, noticing that the relative is made of change, because there is space. Okay. Yes, but the absolute. Yes, you mean there is a kind of. But it's not a change. This is always there, but it's not really.
It's a kind of something I try to understand many times when I'm hearing this in other places also. Like it's very subtle. I feel it like it's very subtle. It's the right point where it's the attention goes here, goes there, and still I perceive this changing. Do you understand me?
Yes, but not the question. If it is a question, I don't know if it's a question or what. Try to formulate.
Like I will try, but it's like my question is, where is the mind? Where is the end of the mind? Like it's possible to perceive until a very subtle point, and then
there is
mind should disappear.
No, this is a mistake. If we try to control the devil, then the devil control you. So if you wait for the mind to disappear or to stop, it's better be what you are in spite of the mind, to be here or not, the time and space, the duality, the appearance. Be what you are. You are the self, the absolute self. Be that in spite of whatever appear, whatever face it takes. If you wait for the mind to stop, then you are playing the game of the devil.
It was not my intention. It was not my intention to stop the mind or to wait the mind to stop. What I mean is, from the perspective of the self, can I still watch?
No.
So who is the watcher?
Yes, this, if you really, the seer, then it disappears. No one can be there. So it's not, it's something we cannot really talk about. It's like, so we can say absolute perception. So, but this the mind cannot grasp. That's what we talk about in Satsang. The mind cannot grasp. So the mind tried, and to some extent he understands something. But it's by withdrawing attention to the center, you can see it another way. I often speak about the circle, and who is perceiving at the center of the circle is me, I. Every one of us is a kind of circle, we can say, with a center of perception, which is me, ego. But this ego is hiding, because ego is part of the will, but is hiding the real center, which is not moving. The absolute center, which is not in time and space, which is not moving, the ego is like if you put something on the bottom of something, So the ego is hiding this. But it is there to create the movie of duality and separation. So this is the purpose of having created an ego, me and you. But if we look at the ego closely, that's how we'll see more and more that it's not really existing, it's more like a phantom, and then what is behind, hidden, will appear. And that is an unmovable self. It is hidden by the false center. Ego is like a false center. It's still a relative center. But the absolute center is hidden by the false center. That's why the self-inquiry is to watch as this fake center, which pretends to be the center, but it's a relative center. So by putting attention to the subject of attention, then by putting attention on the relative subject, I, then the absolute attention might perceive itself. Now it's covered. That's the only thing. It's covered. By more and more looking at it, it might perceive itself. By itself, and we can't do anything for that. We can only do something relative to bring our attention to the false center. Somehow, it's not accurate to speak like that, but we have to say something. So to put the attention on the false center, on I, ego, and the more you look at it, you will see, oh, it seems to exist. I seem to have control, but the more you look, you will see that it's not a real control. And then by seeing all this, you will see that it's not a real separation. It's an appearance of separation, an experience of separation. But in the experience of separation, for the self, there is no separation, no beginning, no end. It's just an experience. And the self, by more and more listening to that, then by, I don't know by which means, it's not in our hands, then the self may recognize itself. Oh. And that's why many people say it's just a aha, which is a split second, like Papaji would say it's a split second, because it splits the second. It's not in time. When this is heard, it's not by the self to itself, it's not in time. That's why it splits the second. And you can see, not with these eyes, and this yes, this simple yes, I am that. I am that, which is the absolute seer, experiencing all that, but it's not really a separate observator. We start with this to separate and to be a witness and all that, but ultimately it's not about being a separate witness, but it's good to do that. It helps a lot. We have to do that, to meditate like this and to separate from the body, mind and all this. And it's like a Zen koan. You know what is Zen koan? To stop the mind. So if you do self-inquiry, for example, who am I? Is not to get an answer It's just to, and there is no answer, and there will never be any answer. And in this no answer, you can relax. But it's not really there may be a part, some relaxation of the body mind, but it's more a recognition of the relaxation which is always there, because this carelessness, because I have absolutely no control on anything in reality. Yes. So, yes. You see, and when you see, this is seen, and then what is coming next is next. And then, yes. So we can say it's like an absolute acceptance of what you are, in spite of any experience, which is that no one can take, really. So the person cannot really take it.
Satyam, your first point, world is an illusion.
Yes.
And then you had two more. Could you give us more pointers so we could go to the second and the third?
Yes. So, everybody who is seeking for truth or freedom or real love or whatever, the spiritual search is coming from a dissatisfaction of the world, right? Because otherwise, why we would look for something if we were fully satisfied with the world? So the first step is to realize that the world is not really giving us what we want. It gives sometimes satisfaction, and then we are suffering, high and low. So this is the first step. So Poonam was asking about the three sentences. So the first was the world is an illusion. So it starts from this, to acknowledge that, oh yes, this world is not giving me what I want. We have all, I think, here been going through that. And Buddha also. Buddha said, I don't want to suffer. I don't want to get old. I don't want to die. Buddha said that. That's why he left the kingdom. He left his beautiful wife and children, the most beautiful food anyone could dream of. He left everything. Because these three things, he said, I don't want this. To suffer, to get old, and to die. So that is the first step. So we realize this world knows something, I don't know. So this seeking start. So a master come and tell you, yes, he agree with you. You suffer because the world is an illusion. Because the perception you have of what is separate, and that makes you suffer. That is the origin. You believe you are separate, and you believe that you are changing, so you will become old, because you believe you are this body mind, and it is changing, and you have gray hairs now. So it's old age. And suffering, before that, suffering start maybe from before. So it become because the body is changing, depending on food, depending on some conditions, on change again. So it's getting sick and suffering. And at the end, finally, the body will be no more. We call it death, right? So this is all depending on time and space and difference and change. So this is the first thing. So the master will tell you the world is an illusion, right? So it's not really an illusion. It is, for us, it is true, but it is a relative truth. So we have to understand why it is spoken like that. So you understand, Poonam, like this? Poonam?
Yes, very clear. Very clear.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. So we go to again. So why the second sentence? Only you have to focus. If it's not real, if this is an illusion, the perception I have of the world, the separation I have, the sense of separation, the duality is an illusion, then I have to look for what is real. So the master will tell you what is real is in opposition with what is relative, with change and difference and change. Look for what has no Look for what has no difference and change. For what is real and mean permanent, with no change, no beginning, no end. So this is second sentence. Only the self is real. So the master give you a direction. Now, look for the numeral, not the phenomenal, but the numeral, the essence. So you can do this also when you look at people, you talk with people. Your physical eyes might be and physical ears might be on the object, the appearance, but from the inner eye you can look at the nominal, the essence, which is formless. So you can practice that all the time in movement, not only when you're sitting your closed eyes. You talk with someone and your attention is partly on the form and what is said, but part of the attention you put on the numeral, means the essence, what is eternal. So see the eternal beyond all forms.
How do you do that practically?
You just do it without asking questions. You just do it. You put attention on what is the essence, what is eternal. You know, if the mind say, "How we do that?" No, when you see, you look at me. Can you try to open your eye, not the mind and the thinking? Can you open yourself to see what is beyond the form? Can you do it?
It's like focus on the space over which everything is.
Yeah, it will take a shape. It's still a shape, but at least it is starting to go beyond this perception. So it's like a meditation. So you can meditate on that which is formless, or you can meditate on the silence. You talk to someone, or you are talking, but inside you see the silence at the same time. So it can be a meditation in action also. So this is number 2. So only the self is real, so you put your attention more on that. And then, so until now you follow, Poonam?
Yes, very clear.
So, and then naturally, the third sentence, the word is Brahman, or the word is the self. Then it's all, I'm bathing all the time in God. I am that. Whether I am on this physical plane or any higher plane or in Satsang or anywhere else, I am always the absolute. And I have no preference to be anywhere, so...
Could you speak more that the world is Brahman, the third one?
Yeah, it is perceived as an appearance of the self. It's an appearance, but it is seen as a fake appearance. The separation is seen as an appearance of separation. But in separation, there is no separation. In the experience of separation, there is not a real separation. It's just an experience. So, then you see the world differently because, yes, there is an experience.
How do we feel it experientially?
But you have to go somehow to first go through the first 1, 2, 3 somehow. So you cannot go from 1 to 3 or something like that. So first you have to be really sure that the world will not give you anything which your soul really longed for. So first step has to be really strong to really see that. That's what Buddha did, and anyone who's thinking, I've been through that. So the first step is essential. Otherwise, the foundation is not strong.
So Buddha left everything. How could you feel it's an illusion while living in the world?
Everything happened at different times. So Buddha, 2,500 years ago, he did some work like that, but everyone has a different story. So if we are lucky, we don't need to go through all what he did. Now we are in a special time. There is so much knowledge shared through anime and through internet and through many ways, and so many books. And before it was not like that. The knowledge was you had to travel by feet for days and suffer and maybe not eat and like that. Now you just have to click open and it's there. So yes, we cannot compare. And to compare with anyone, Buddha is. I am what is the situation I am in is. Buddha himself said the situation is a vehicle. The vehicle means which will our experience. You know what is a vehicle? Like I don't know if I say it correctly in English. Vehicle. So vehicle. Yes. So the situation is a vehicle. Buddha said that, right? So it means every situation I am in, it's a way, it's a perfect setup to realize what I am, so there is no mistake in that sense. And then we could add to that the goal is the way. Like in Taoism, the Tao means the way. But in the same time, it's the way, but it's also the destination. So it's a paradox. The way is the destination. We are already home. We are already that, but we are traveling on the way to that what we are already. So it's a paradox. Because we are.
Craziness.
Yes, it's a craziness, a paradox. But for what we are, there is no risk. Even all this suffering is not really happening. It's happening as an experience. But when you see it's at the base of all of it, time and space and change, and this is not really happening. It's an appearance. Then, by suffering, by dying, by suffering, the self is not suffering. What we are is not suffering. By dying, the self is not dying. An experience is there. That is what you can see, the difference between an experience and what you are. So all what happened in time and space is an experience. So
also I am not real.
Who are you talking about? About Hans?
Yeah, he's not really existing. As soon as my thoughts stop and as soon as I'm just living in eternity, I'm gone.
Yes, it depends how you perceive it. Because the absolute I, the self is the absolute I. So the I is dreaming to be a separate I, but the absolute I, cannot die. He was never born. So you are this absolute I. There is only one I, one self, but he's dreaming to be many.
Can that be happy?
Sorry?
Can that I be happy?
This I is beyond happiness or unhappiness. It does not depend on anything. If you understand what means absolute. Absolute cannot tolerate anything depending on something. To be absolute, you have to be absolutely independent. So it's not depending even on happiness. To depend on happiness It's still a dependency, and so it's not absolute. So if you're looking for the absolute, then discard even happiness.
But it's said that the real I is Satchitanand. It's truth. It's
Existence, consciousness, yes,
yeah.
and joy or bliss. Yes, but it's some
So
kind.
it is.
Yes, but then be the truth which is prior to any relative truth. Be consciousness which is prior to any relative consciousness, and be the bliss which is prior to any relative bliss. So if you are looking for a relative bliss, relative consciousness, relative truth, you will always be depending on something, and it's not for you. What you are does not want anything relative. So be the absolute bliss which does not expect bliss. The one who is expecting bliss is not that what you are. It cannot be absolute.
So Satyam, we get it, right? We get the first, second, third. We get glimpses of it. Why is so difficult to just for it to be sustainable?
It's not sustainable. That's why. It's not sustainable because
no, relative world is why it just keeps popping up.
Because it cannot do otherwise. It by itself is coming out. So it stopped. These two movements, I talked a few times about this movement coming out of the center. I want to live, and I experience object and the world. Right? And then energy is tired. Shakti now want to go back to the center and dissolve again. But then it's again coming out. So to the question why, I think the best answer is why not. Because like my dear friend was asking to her father why the banana is curved. It is the same answer. Why not? Why not?
No, for instance, Ramana it was established in it.
No, it's a wrong understanding. He says that to people, to the body mind, to establish in it. But in truth, you're always that. In truth, you're always that. But it's a pointer, You have to establish in it, to meditate, to do mantra, to this. So it's addressed to the body mind because he's suffering and he feel I'm not the self, Ramana also said you have only one thought which you have to get rid of, that you are not the self. When the thought is not there, then that's it. So that only this belief that I am not that. So if you don't listen to the mind, what is left? The mind is chatting, and it's Shakti chatting. Shakti always looking for a lover, trying to feed itself on some goal and to accomplish itself, to feel full. Because as a memory, it has a memory, because the Shakti energy who came out of the self has in itself the memory of bliss, of completeness, of fullness, of unconditional love. This memory is there. So when it comes out of the absolute, with this memory, when there is the first I awareness come, then it will look automatically with this memory, it will look for, I need to be more full, more bliss, more this, I need to be complete. Give me a Parvati, give me something. So Shiva, the relative Shiva, not the absolute, will need always to complete itself with something. So it's the nature of the Prakriti energy game. So, but when there is an absolute acceptance of the game, then okay, Shakti play its game. Why not? Bye, Suzanne.
Bye.
See you soon. Yes, she has a meeting with someone.
Tschüss.
Yes.
Tschüss.
So,
Oh,
thank you, Susan, for coming, for joining.
yes, thank you so much.
Yes.
Bye.
Yes. Yes. So that's why they use the word lila in English, in Hindi or Sanskrit. Lila, the game. You know, that's why the playfulness is maybe more important than meditation or anything. Playfulness. When you have this sense of playfulness, it comes when this is more and more heard, that what I am is, it's a movie, it's a show a theater. Then this carelessness, this sense, oh, I'm not in charge of anything, in truth. This caretaker, this person has an experience of taking care, controlling, and this responsibility. But what I am is not included in that. Is not part of it. So it's a show. So the sense of this carelessness, this playfulness is more and more there. So the actor will continue to dance Romeo and Juliet and so on. Unsatisfied, I'm so suffering. Oh, I'm full in bliss. The actors will play their role. So what to do? Can they avoid to play their role? Do they have a real choice to change anything? They have an experience of choice, all these actors. But is this choice real? So if not, when you see it's not, then it's just happened by itself. So what to do?
That's exactly the question. What to do? Do we really want to get out of the circle? Because then there's nothing but just being. Or do we kind of want to just every now and then get out of the circle when it's too much pain?
But that's why you always come back. You know?
Exactly.
Now I'm only being, absolute being. But then maybe it's an image, but maybe you're bored again, and then you manifest as a god or an elephant or whatever. So, and you will experience yourself in infinite ways.
And
No.
So polite, you're so polite.
I was just trying to make a joke. Maybe I would want to come back as you.
Yeah, you can take any. It's you already me.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, so you are already that which is in this body, and this body is only one self. So there is no two self in truth. So you are already sitting in this body, and in this body, and this body at the same time.
But I don't feel your pain.
Yeah, because you have a separate body consciousness. So this is another tool, which is part of experience. We have a separate body consciousness. It's made like that. You know, like I have my car, you have your car, same. So, but it's beyond the appearance. We can see that there is only one self. In the appearance, there is many selves. We cannot deny that. We experience it as separate self. That's why we have to come from this false perception, this illusion of being separate, and look for the real, eternal self or God, or nature of Buddha, which is always there.
so the karma, you say you come back based on your karma. That's also at just relative level.
Of course. Whatever is related to something is relative. It's very easy. Whatever is related is relative. So, finish. Neti. How to find what you are, neti. Not this, whatever I can experience whatever is related, whatever is relative, discard. Maybe you use it for some time. For example, you're on a path of bhakti with a master, then you have a relation. You're related to a master, but this master will tell you, this master is an image created in your own dream. You created this image to help you to overcome the illusion of separation. But the form of the master is also part of the illusion. But it is useful, so you use it as a positive tool. If you understand, a true master will say, I'm also part of the illusion. Like Ishwar Puri, when he speaks about it, he said, yes, it's a created outer master because you believe you are separate, so the self appears as separate. And at the end, it will tell you and give you the experience, which is not really an experience, but realize that there is no me and you, there is only you, or only that, or only the self, only God, only whatever you call it. It's just a setup, So we have been starting the dream from layers deeper and deeper and deeper into the dream, and now we are tired, so energy pulls back out of the dream. But all this movement out and in is a Shakti energy, so
often I come to the point where I think about giving. If you
can you
give
speak
love
little
or
louder?
if you-
Can you speak little louder, because we can't hear you well.
That's bad. I didn't know. Thanks for telling me. Is it better now?
Yes.
If you give something, I think at the end it is good for you because you give it to yourself.
Yes.
It's an illusion that you give it to someone else,
Yes.
love or carefulness. At the end, you give it to yourself.
Yes.
And that's why some people, maybe because of karma, they look for jobs where they are in the position of giving, like people who work for the fireworks or in the hospitals and so on. And they really want to do that, and they have noted that it is good for them because it gives them something, right?
Yeah. Yes.
But somehow it is connected to the self.
Yes, because this memory is there, as I said, it feels incomplete. So we need attention, we need love. We don't really do something for anyone else in truth. If we would look carefully, we do it only for our own advantage. When I help someone, it's because after I feel good in helping others. So
it's selfish.
It's all selfish. So to realize that it's all very selfish because there is only me. So whatever I do is for me. And that is the realization that there is nobody else than me. So whatever I do is for me. Because in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also said, he was speaking like me. It is only me. So whatever we do is selfish because there is nobody else. We talk to ourselves, we love ourselves, we hate ourselves, we control ourselves, we try by all the way to be in this business game with an apparent one, because we lost awareness that it's our own self. But purposefully somehow we make this experience of forgetfulness. I forget to be that absolute self, only one self, so I forget. And then I make the experience there is me and you and this and that. So because I feel I'm separate, then I will try to please you. I will try to be pleased also that you love me, I love you. Oh, my poor, you need some affection and this. So it's a play. But when you realize it's only you all around, there is nobody else. So it's absolute selfishness. So
what is the difference between an egocentric person and a selfish one?
No, it's the same. It's the same. But when you are fully stuck in separation and only this, awareness, consciousness of being separate, then it is egocentric, but in a separated way. You think there is someone else that you help, and so on, that you love, or you feel you need to be loved. So it's a separate consciousness. But the absolute consciousness or self or whatever, this is seeing that there is only you. So this awareness can be more seen, not with physical eyes like that. So by hearing this, that's why people go to talks like that or to meeting like that this can be heard again and again. And this recognition, this self-recognition, oh yes, it appears that there is somebody else, but now I see more and more it's just an appearance. And that's why it's scary for the ego, because the ego, oh my God, I will be alone if there is only me. So ego will try to skip that, it doesn't want to accept that there is only me. So it creates, there is me and you and others and the world, because I don't want to be alone. So that is, I will lose my friend, like you said the other day. But if so, I will lose my friends. But this is a perception of the ego, because for the self there is no others, so there is no notion of me and you. This is not existent. So there is that's why, the emptiness, that we run away from emptiness to really be like a wild animal, it's wild at the beginning and is going in all direction. But then, yes, make friend of this. Face what you are most afraid of. Face the devil, because the fear is the fear of the devil. Me fear this or that.
I fear my fears most of all.
Yes, so me, my is me, and me is the devil. The real devil is me, it's not outside. So, and me is always in fear of losing my sense of separation. I need my sense of separation to exist. This is a foundation of me. But what is hidden behind me is my true self, we could say. But the devil me will always try to hide it.
It's quite easy to say that, but in a relationship, when you're in a relationship and your partner kind of decides more and more what to do, and you say, we are one, so it doesn't really matter, I can do what you, but then I start getting the fear that I'm losing myself. And,
but
that's not a good...
But because it's a fake statement, we are one, it's to say on the relative level we are one, it's like all this sect and movement, we are all one. This is fake. No. We are very much separated. So it does not work on the relative to say we are one. It has to be seen from somewhere else.
A suppressor would have it easy then to say, but we're all just one, so...
No, but we are not all one. We are very much different and separate. This we have to acknowledge this fully. We are all different and separate on the relative level. This absolute perception is not in duality.
Okay.
So yes, we are separate and we have to...
Absolute?
Huh?
What did you say? The absolute perception is not?
We cannot put the absolute in terms of relative. Say we are all one. We're all one. It doesn't, even when I say it doesn't sound true, it sounds very fake. The vibration is we are all one. It's not true. Outside, we cannot be one in the relative. We are separate and we are ready to see it. We are separate, we change, and so on, and time and space. So
but we are just not that.
Yes, this is just an appearance. But on the relative, we cannot take any, all this.
How can we feel that this is relevant?
You cannot, by seeing it. Yes, it's good. A good way to feel it. Feel how much you feel separate. How much you feel this fear of dying. This fear of losing. of not having enough money, or feel this. And this will lead you to the seeking of the real stuff. So feel this limited consciousness. Yes, it's there. I cannot deny it. If I say, oh, I am the self, it's fake. Oh, we are all one. Fake. No, we are separate, and we're experiencing death and separation and old age and suffering, and it's very tough. So, but is it an absolute, this experience, is it really, what is this? Is there not something behind this?